Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, that darn kitty.
Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading The Way of Kings for the first time. Each episode we will summarize what we've read and discuss the experience along the way.
This is Storming the Archives, The Way of Kings, and today we discuss Chapter 48.
Chapter 48.
Chapter 48, Strawberry. Shalon recovers in a hospital. She cut deeper than she had intended, and now those around her think it was intentional. She's been sketching the hospital hallways and still sees the creatures lurking at the distant edges of the room. Shalon intends to use this event as an excuse to go home. The place she had visited haunts her mind. She's made several drawings of the place. She tries to make connections between what she experienced and the soul casting. King Taravangian comes into the hospital and begins visiting with the patients. He makes his way to Shalon. He is proud of his hospital's success. No one is turned away, paid for by the Palaneum. He tries to give comfort to Shalon, then promises to talk with the doctors about allowing visitors. Yasna joins her now that she is allowed to do so. She's been continuing her studies in the hospital waiting room. She tries to apologize for pushing Shalon so hard. She gives Shalon the Book of Endless Pages, a book of empty pages, and advises her to search out the Devotary of Sincerity, a devotary devoted to learning and asking questions. Kabsal joins the two. He's brought strawberry jam from Shinovar as a special treat. He inadvertently reveals to Yasna that Shalon had intended to go home prior to the recent event. Yasna sniffs the strawberry jam but does not taste it. Kabsal repeatedly insists Shalon try the jam, to the point that Shalon wonders why he's pushing it so hard. Shalon insists the two at least try to get along while they visit her. The three of them eat bread. Shalon smells the strawberry jam, but claims it smells of vinegar and slime. Kabsal forces himself to eat a large scoop. He stands up. Shalon fears he's going to force her to eat some. Kabsal dashes from the room, but passes out before he makes it to the exit. Shalon leaps out of bed, but then feels as if the room is spinning. Yasna shouts for help. She tells Shalon she intends to use the soulcaster to purify her. Shalon, dizzy, tells Yasna she can't soulcast, then tries to free the soulcaster from her safe pouch for Yasna to use. Yasna gasps. Shalon feels a flash of warmth, then pain, then blackness.
Right. Eventful.
Before we get into it, the epigraph. They take away the light, wherever they lurk. Skin that is burned. Kormshem, page 104. Again, dark imagery, voidish imagery, burning, skin burning.
Yeah, we've had the skin burning a lot, several times, so that's what they look like. Yeah. But yeah, they take the light. Very dark things.
Yep.
More Voidbringer thing.
Yep. So, crazy chapter.
Yeah.
Let's, I guess, try to do this chronologically, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
She's in the hospital. She's healing. They have someone watching over her because they think she tried to unalive herself. And she's going to go with it. She didn't intend to, but she's going to use that as her excuse to leave. Yeah?
Yeah, good choice. Yeah, we find out that she didn't intend that, but hey, that's how it worked out. And also because of just the shock around something like that happening, or thinking that that's what somebody's doing, she's managed to avoid suspicion for that amount of blood and all of that. I agree with their assumption because of just how much blood there was. It's just, it doesn't seem, like, oopsie, I just fell. And also, considering what she was doing when she ran into her room. So it seemed like she had some sort of mental breakdown. So it's not a huge assumption to make.
Yeah.
From the outside.
Yeah. She's drawing, and the geometry men are still there. They're in the room. They're not super close to her, but they're hanging around in the periphery. It seems so far, if she doesn't bother them, they won't bother her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she repeats that she's not going to talk to Yasna about it because it might be
Mhm.
something to do with soul casting.
Yeah. And then speaking of soul casting, I have to read these 2 paragraphs because I think she covers a lot of the things that we supposed in that chapter.
Yes.
I visited another place. I think I spoke with the spirit of the goblet. Did a goblet of all things have a soul? Upon opening her pouch to check on the soulcaster, she'd found that the sphere Capsule had given her had stopped glowing. She could remember a vague feeling of light and beauty, a raging storm inside of her. She'd taken the light from the sphere and given it to the goblet, the spren of the goblet, as a bribe to transform. Was that how soulcasting worked, or was she just struggling to make connections? So yeah, we talked about the soul of an object, I think.
Yeah, I think this makes sense with just the kind of magic that Sanderson plays with as well, the soul stamps and things like that. So yeah, I'm with her. I think this theory is pretty good. The ocean of beads and things, is that all of the souls of everything, the spring of everything? I don't know what the ocean of beads is that she spoke about, because she's drawn that
I
as
remember. Yeah, I mean, I remember the ocean of beads from the chapter. But yes. Also, there's something about like the spirit of an object that seems very Shinto to me. And I'm not going to pretend to know a great deal about the Shinto religion, but that is where my mind went. And I think there's a lot of Asian influence in this book, particularly with the Way of Kings being very Buddhism-y.
So she takes that. It seems like soul casting involves taking the that electricity, the storm light into her, and then giving it away. So or at least the soul caster allows that sort of thing to happen. And yeah, okay, that's I'm with her on that knowledge. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think we'll obviously learn more, and maybe she's wrong. Maybe she's just but I think she's slightly wrong, if anything.
Yes. She's on the right track.
Yeah.
And then Taravangian comes in, and we learn that Carbronth has universal health care.
But it's paid for by the library, essentially.
Yep. What a nice thought.
Yeah. And he's really idealistic. He's happy that he's got light eyes and dark eyes. He's very progressive. He's very happy that nobody gets turned away and everything. So it's something that needs to be protected.
Yeah. And he visits weekly.
Yeah.
And so on.
There is a reminder of the kind of king he is. That him visiting weekly and everything. He's a king that is out of his palace a lot, and I guess the lesser lords or whatever their scheming is but they're happy that he does that because that leaves them free to do what they must. But it does make me wonder if something's going to happen to him eventually.
Yeah.
Because we've got that reminder of his lack of power.
Yeah, I'm concerned for his well-being. I will say I thought that there were a lot of really great bits of wit between Taravangian and Shalon. I think much more calorie enriched than the wit between her and Capsule.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Particularly Shalon talking about being in this hospital compared to any other, being like wanting to choke on wine instead of dishwasher water.
Well, yeah, dishwater. Yeah. And he finds that delightful as well. He also just finds her quite charming.
Yeah. And then her bit about her, where is it?
Her wellness.
That's the one. Her wellness at the expense of her health.
Yeah. The other way around, whichever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was really clever. Again, I just think more clever than anything she had with Capsule.
But there's also she asks for visitors. So she asks him to, can I leave? And then he's like, no, you need a few more days or whatever. But she gets visitors, essentially, because she asked him. And it seems like Yasna was actually waiting for that to be allowed, because she was in the waiting room, I suppose. And her her sort of jousting with Yasna, the way that she spoke as well there, what I found very enjoyable about the way that they wiggled around this awkward apology kind of thing. And
I liked that quite a
yeah,
lot, yeah.
and like Yasna, you are very difficult to. It's very difficult for you to apologize because you don't often make mistakes, essentially. But the wordplay of the way between them was really great because it's a way to kind of diffuse that tension between them.
Yeah. I will say Shalon doesn't try to dissuade Yasna from the thought that she was pushing her too hard.
Mm-hmm.
I know she's going with the unalive attempt as her
Mm-hmm.
excuse to leave. I don't think she needed to suggest it was that. And maybe, I mean, I certainly think Yasna crossed a line with the philosophy lesson,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't, outside of that, get the feeling that she was pushing Shalon any harder than Shalon wanted to be pushed.
Yeah, and so she didn't, for this unaliving thing to be valid, she could have leaned on, I'm just not ready to be, like she did with Teravangian, where she says, it seems I'm not ready to be away from my family, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
She could have leaned on that more than it's Yasna's fault. And
Yeah.
Yasna gives her such a huge compliment when she apologizes as well. The way that she says she's deprived now because this is the amount of guilt that Yasna has. She's like, I've deprived the world of a scholar, of one of the greatest scholarly minds and whatever. And the fact that she's actually letting Shalon know that, because I think she's always thought Shalon is very, has great potential and very smart, and she just needs to get to it. But she's not stroking Shalon's ego anytime soon. So the fact that she does do that in this interaction is testament to her guilt, I would say.
Yeah. And then Yasna gives her the Book of Endless Pages, which I thought was very sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's...
And the story behind it as well. It's a metaphor. It's not a magic book of endless pages.
Yeah.
The empty pages symbolizing that there's always more to learn. And she talks about how she got it from the Devotary of Sincerity. It was the closest she had ever come to joining the Vorin faith, Vorinism.
Yeah.
And it does indeed sound like one that would be good for Yasna. Shalon reveals what Kabsal suspects Yasna to be studying the Voidbringers for. Did you at all get a sense that maybe she's studying the Voidbringers to try to prove God or the Almighty does exist?
Maybe that's a secondary thing, like a personal thing, that maybe along the way I'll figure out that God does exist, and that wouldn't be too bad. But my initial take on why she's doing this was because it's the same sort of thing as Tyndwell, where it's like there's something coming we need to know about. There is something in reality we need to know how to defeat and deal with. It's not so much about a personal search for God, but I think that that's something that might be underlying there. She does certainly have some sort of tenderness for that book. I don't know if it's who gave it to her or just the idea that that's maybe her underlying hope, because that does seem like a valid place for her to be devoted. That's what she's doing. She's already devoted to that. She's devoted to looking and asking questions. So I want to know more about that. It's definitely, Sanderson's definitely signaled that that's important, and there's more to know there.
Yeah. And for my own position on the matter, if we didn't know that she was also looking into the Parshendi and Gavilar's death, in addition to the Voidbringer stuff, I would say maybe she's looking for God. But because we have those other things, I lean more, again, as you have said, into the Tyndwell approach of I feel like something bad is coming, and I see the signs before anyone else does, and I need to figure this out, kind of a thing. So Kabsal comes in. Where do we even start with this?
Well, like where we do start is Yasna's comment. I drove you to the side. Here's some bread.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And that's very funny. I totally forgot at the beginning of the episode because I wanted to start with the chapter title, Strawberry, because I did pause when I read that before I had gotten into the chapter, and I was like, strawberries in this world, huh? Because clearly Sanderson has made a very big point of he doesn't even call it Earth, the Earth. It's Roshar. So for there to be strawberries in this world seems like it was noteworthy. And then of course they come from Shinovar.
I didn't even no, with the strange grass that doesn't go away. So it's like it's normal Earth over there. I didn't have too much of a thought about it. I was just like, yeah, strawberry must involve capsule. That's what I thought because of jam. So I mean, I think of strawberries, I think of jam, and I think of capsule. There we go. So that's the only the surface level place that I took it. And yeah, it was very cool that we did have this, and she didn't know what a strawberry was and all of that. That was fun too. It's just a nice thing in to have this winking at you in a fantasy novel.
Yeah. So yeah, Kabsal, Yasna, and Shalon banter, slightly argue, but banter. I appreciated Shalon saying, hey, you two are visiting me, so can you at least try to get along? Please.
But it's mostly like Yasna's got to keep the claws in.
Yeah. Shalon has a thought. Why is Kabsal pushing me to try the jam so much? Like, she finds it weird.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's had it. So we think... So you already know something's up, and you've got this strawberry idea in your head. So you know this is the main point.
Here's the thing. I don't think the poison was in the strawberry jam.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think it was. So
no, it's in the bread.
Yasna... Well, I considered that it was the bread, but Yasna ate the bread. She did not eat the jam, and I don't think... Shalon ate the jam.
No, Shalon
She didn't have the jam.
No, she didn't. I was wondering if the jam is some sort of antidote. Okay. But then I thought, because I was like, that's why he's pushing her to have it. Okay. But
because Kabsal...
Yes, because Kabsal had it and he still collapsed. Yes. But also, we don't know... Yasna didn't want to have this bread, but she apparently chewed it and put it in her mouth. Maybe she didn't swallow it. Maybe she surreptitiously just... spat it out somewhere or something. She just doesn't like it. So because it's not taken effect on her.
Yeah.
Or she's like what's it, a Bene Gesserit who takes in poisons and things. Yeah. So I don't know, something like that. So I think it is in the bread. Yeah,
but ultimately the strawberry jam was like vinegar and slime. And it's interesting because Yasna smelled it and she didn't make that comment. The other two did.
But Yasna put her finger in it, okay? And remember, Yasna can soulcast without... She can soulcast across the... She goes and... I don't know what she did, but she can soulcast quite cool, okay? And
do you think she soul casted with the broken soul caster and inadvertently poisoned?
Not inadvertently, but again, no. I think she might have changed. This was my theory at the time. Because she put her finger in it, she changed it into something else. She made it taste bad, and that's all she was doing. She was just changing it, and she can use the broken soul caster for some reason. Yeah. Okay, that was my theory.
I mean, it might not be beyond Yasna to do something petty like that. I'm a bit hesitant, but maybe. It definitely strikes me as weird that Kabsal was pushing so hard. Shalon did not taste the jam. He did. It's weird that he, tried to run away. That was weird. He didn't call for help. He didn't say, I feel dizzy after he had it. He just it was like he got caught doing something wrong and dashed off and then fainted halfway out the door. So I think we are supposed to think that the poison was the jam and Capsol might have done it, but I don't think so. I wondered if it was the geometry men. Again, I don't think so. So I really have no clue whatsoever. Maybe it's the spren of the Soulcaster that did it, or whatever.
Interesting.
Or it was Yasna.
Well, not. I don't think Yasna is the one that's making them both pass out.
Yeah.
Especially because Yasna is then going to change. She's purifying Shalon's blood with the Soulcaster.
Yes.
And here we have the great twisting, because remember we said, okay, one of the things that might happen is then Yasna's going to need the Soulcaster, and then she'll have the wrong one, and that will be a problem. Now her having the wrong one is a problem for Shalon herself. She's trying to save Shalon in this instance.
And then amazingly, Shalon is like, no, here's the Soulcaster. And Yasna gasps, so she was successful in showing it to her. And then it seems as if Yasna does do the blood purifying thing, and it causes tremendous agony.
Burning.
What a cliffhanger to the chapter. I cannot wait to see what happens next. Will she wake up, like, under arrest? Yasna's captive?
Yeah.
Will Capsol be a captive? Will he be accused because it looks like he's the one that did it? I don't even know.
So many questions.
Okay. It was recommended to me that we consolidate all of our predictions before we get to part 4 of the book. So, Kite, between now and the next couple of chapters, we should write down our official predictions for the prediction log. Yeah?
Yeah. Not that I have many, guys.
Yeah. So far, I think we have the Everstorm is coming. Syl was a radiant. Kaladin and the crew are going to go on a pilgrimage across the Shattered Plains. We'll spend the next week or so ironing them out, I think, and then come back next week, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to That Darn Kite if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel. And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks, bye.